Hey y'all, it's Sammy. Welcome back to Call to Be Different, Reflecting Christ. Today, I just wanted to talk about the Eucharist for a second. I'm going to be coming out pretty soon with my Eucharist video, and honestly, I'm really just trying to figure out how to put it all in one video because it is so much information, but it is so good. So it might just have to be an educational video and less of an entertaining video because I really don't know how to make it very entertaining with all the education that's in it. So I don't know, we'll think about it, right? But anyways, I wanted to talk about I haven't really had time to sit down and just be in the Word, and today I said I'm done with that. I'm going to just sit down and start making this a routine again, because although I'm in the Word, I'm not resting in the Word, if you know what I mean. So today I'm resting in the Word. So I wanted to talk about Exodus chapter 16. Some things that kind of stuck out to me today, since I've been studying on the Eucharist for quite some time now. I wanted to talk about this. So Exodus 16, Israel is actually in the wilderness of sin. They are literally in a place called Sin, which is very interesting to me. I looked up the Greek word. It means thorn or clay, which is also very interesting. But it talks about how the whole congregation murmured against Moses and Aaron, and then they started complaining. And they said, that they wished that the Lord would have left them in Egypt in slavery, right? And they said, when we sat by flesh pots and ate bread to the full. So that's what they're worried about, is their self and their consumption of food and being satisfied. And then I just noticed that this is where God comes and says, behold, I will rain down bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day. Okay, so let's jump all the way to John chapter 6. And this is in my Eucharist video, but anyways, this just kind of hit me differently today. So John chapter 6, verse 41. So this is after the people had just been fed by Jesus. The 5,000 people have been fed by Jesus. And so he goes across the sea, and they get in boats and follow him. And when they get to him, they ask him to do another miracle. They ask him to rain down bread from heaven, the manna. And they tell him, our fathers ate the manna. And Jesus goes on his bread of life discourse, right? But I want to point this out. In verse 41, it says, the Jews then murmured at him because of what he said. So this is after he told them that they needed to eat his flesh and drink his blood. And so they murmured at him, just like they had murmured at Moses and Aaron. Now they're murmuring at him. But what did God do? He provided the bread from heaven. And so he goes on and he doubles down and he says, do not murmur against or amongst yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up on the last day. And then he talks about the bread coming down from heaven again. And he says that bread did not actually come down from Moses. That was not Moses' doing. That was the Father. He's the one that rained down the bread from heaven. And he goes on to say that he is the living bread. And anyone that eats of this bread, meaning himself, will live forever. And the bread which I shall give for the life of the world is my flesh. Anyways, I just wanted to rest in that today because I thought it was really interesting that the wilderness, they were in the wilderness of sin. I've never noticed that before. And this is where they received their bread for the promised land. So I just wrote on the side margins, I said, we are in the wilderness of sin, murmuring against the Lord, yet he is still providing our daily bread for our journey home to the promised land, which is heaven. So we're going to be doing the Eucharist video soon. I'm super excited to share this with you. It is so much information, and it is so, so good. And it is rooted so deeply in the Old Testament, in the Jewish tradition, in what they believed about the Messiah, who he was going to be, what he was going to do, what he was going to bring. And honestly, I I would think you're absolutely psycho if you hear all this information and you still refuse to believe that Jesus meant for us to literally eat his flesh and blood. Now, I do want to say one side note though. This is his glorified, resurrected flesh and blood. We'll talk about that in the video though. I hope you guys have a blessed day and we'll see you soon. Bye.